Hi, everyone. How's it going? I'm the last speaker. My name's Yale Fox, and I'm a nightclub psychologist and sociologist. And I spend most of my time researching the mystery of why people love to listen to music. I was also a 2011 TED Fellow. I'm the junior editor for Freakonomics, and I'm a marketing professional during the day. So what do? I use a nightclub as a lens to represent society because it's a relatively small room that's only been around for, say, 30, 40 years, and you're throwing a bunch of people that have been evolving for millions of years into it. So it's interesting to see how people react in certain situations. So what defines a nightclub? There's a velvet rope. Essentially, they can say who comes in and who comes in and who doesn't come in. And although it's bottle service driven, they don't actually sell alcohol. The commodity that they're selling is social status. And so what's inside a nightclub? You've got music and lighting, which are affecting the sensory aspect of everything, information coming in. Drugs and alcohol, which are affecting the perception side, so how information is actually interpreted inside. Sex and social status, which are kind of the primal urges, if you will. And I focus a lot of my research on alcohol and its ability to disinhibit an individual. Part of the chemical removes the top-level cognitive processes of thinking, and it exposes more or less the primitive drives, which are food, water, sex, and aggression. Music plays an important part because it's so essential to our entire sociology. And so everybody likes music. You'll be hard-pressed to find someone who doesn't like music. And in terms of natural selection, that means the people that did like it lived and passed the genes on to their offspring, and those that didn't died. So what are the survival advantages? Well, let's talk about what's in a song. Songs are split up into major and minor keys. Minor keys sound sad, and major keys sound happy. Even an untrained ear can tell you that. And there's also tempo, or the beats per minute. So slow songs sound more relaxed, and faster songs generally sound more excited. So what I did was I took the Dow Jones Industrial Averages from 1950 till 2008, and I cross-referenced that with the tempo and key of every song that's ever touched ground on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. And this is the data. So essentially, we found that economic busts are associated with up-tempo, so faster and more sad-sounding music, and the same is vice versa. And so what we did was we took 2008, which is the year where the recession came, and we graphed that. So this is every song that's came out in 2008. It's textbook zero correlation, which means that songs of different speeds with different sounds and harmonics associated with it are released all throughout the year. So it's nothing to do with timing or seasonality. It's just what picks up. So what that means is if you want to make a hit, you need 1 in a million talent, 1 in a million marketing, and 1 in a million timing. Timing is absolutely everything. So that's some of the data that's involved with it. Here's the science behind it. And also quickly, just in terms of causality and how it doesn't necessarily equate with correlation, the Dow Jones is not what's predicting music. The Dow Jones is something that we're using to establish the emotional index of a population. So if you think of how the economy is doing, and that makes you feel a certain way based on the resources that are in your pocket, that influences a certain emotional state, and it's actually the emotional state, which is influenced by several other variables, that determines what we choose to listen to. And so another example with that is with fashion marketing. So during times of economic boom, women's dresses become shorter, they use less material, and they become more expensive. The same happens with men's ties. They become thinner, more narrow, and they cost a lot more money. What this essentially means is, or actually, and also in terms of scent marketing, so in terms of economic booms, the perfume bottles become smaller. They're priced more expensively, and you see more like the Kim Kardashian, like 10 different perfumes over a 12-month year compared to like a Chanel No. 5, which is considered a classic scent. They don't release it as much. So this is a way of displaying resources as an indication of fitness. Paying more for less mimics scarcity, and the ability to do this is perceived by members of the opposite sex of being high fitness. So the most classic example in nature is the peacock, which its feathers, I mean, by having plumage like that, it shows that it has eaten enough food to make the caloric investment to create that, but also that it's able to evade predators more effectively just by making itself so obvious in the environment. We see this in people all the time, too, with liquor, perfume, diamonds, in fashion. The price of all these objects are dictated by the brand value that's associated with it. It has nothing to do with the actual value of making these things. And so in terms of that, so this is how we can see how sexual selection bleeds into other senses. It affects how we input information, so how we process it, and also how we output information and how we express ourselves to the world based on these kind of principles that have to do with sexual selection and scarcity of resources. So how can we use this? Well, we can create more strategic marketing campaigns based on mass aggregated data. And also, like, I guess the message of this entire thing is that there's a right time for everything in the market, and that can easily be the difference between success and failure. Thanks.